to get on the ark. I'm Darren Conrad. I'm here with Joseph Cassarino. And Joseph, you're an advisor and a national distributor for a product called ProImmune. It's a product developed by Dr. Crum, and it's an amazing product. We met at a conference, and I heard Dr. Judy Markovich sharing about your product, and I'm like, wow, we need to share this with my audience. So, welcome, Joseph, and
thank you, Darren. A pleasure and an honor to be here. Before we start talking about the health benefits of ProImmune and what that does, etc., I'd like to just say a quick prayer.
Yeah, man.
Am I getting a delay, or do you hear me okay?
I hear you great.
Fine. Okay. I'd like to say a little prayer because I'd like to thank God, and I'd like to thank Jesus, and I'd like to thank the heavens and the universe for the good versus the evil, and for bringing people of God together, people that understand when you align with God, when you align with nature, when you align with truth, when you align with higher consciousness, that God brings us the miracles. And you just mentioned, Darren, how we met at a health conference that Dr. Judy Markovich, the leading molecular biologist and biochemist, was presenting at. Judy was there specifically to educate the audience and the physicians in the room about the miracle and the miraculous breakthrough of ProImmune Immune Formulation 200 for a distinct reason. Because Judy knows that when you align with nature and you align with God, the cells in the body know what to do. And this is what's been missing in society for the last 100 years, since Big Pharma took a hold and convinced everyone that it's toxic pharmaceuticals that are going to improve our health and get us to optimal levels. And that's not always true. Pharmaceuticals are needed in clinical settings. When you're in a hospital, you have an emergency, you had a car accident, you broke bones, they're giving you very quick interventions and medications in critical situations. Yes, I'm not telling any doctor don't prescribe medicines or utilize medicines. What I'm saying is our autoimmune issues of today, modern society, are basically the result of toxic overload, ubiquitous toxic overload that us, man, have created. We've created the toxins. We've put the poisons and the chemicals in the foods, in the air, in the water. We've done this. And now the overload is so strong that the body can no longer combat the insult that we put onto the human body. God did not intend for us to pollute this beautiful planet Earth. We did this. So when I pray to God, my prayers are to say, thank you, God, in gratitude for all natural modalities, all natural products, the people that spearhead these messages and speak truth. That's what Dr. Judy does. That's what you do, Darren. That's what I'm doing. That's what Dr. Sherry Tenpenny does. That's what RFK Jr. does. Many people that are trying to speak truth are labeled, I don't even know the word. They don't know what they're speaking about. They're idiots. They're not scientists. I'm not a scientist, Darren. And you know what many doctors have told me, including Dr. Edward Ted Fogarty, MD, the man who took this little formula. It's a jar of ProImmune. He took this little powder, this scientific breakthrough, to the federal government in the year 2020, before vaccines came out, and he educated them on the antiviral research by Georgia State Virology Lab, and he proved to them that this little powder is an antiviral, proven by research, and Dr. Crum's own patent proves that this will stop COVID and any virus dead in its tracks. Judy knows that to be true, Dr. Judy, the molecular biologist. But Dr. Edward Ted Fogarty did this because he's another one speaking truth. This is a man speaking truth, coming out, educating physicians and pharmacies. And Dr. Fogarty did a wonderful job introducing ProImmune to many pharmacies and physicians across the Midwest. And when I met Dr. Edward Ted Fogarty a few years ago, and we became friendly, he asked me if I would come out of retirement to spread the message, to go around the country and introduce it to more pharmacies, more medical centers, more physicians who are open to listening to truth. So that's what I've done. I'm out of retirement. I don't do this for the financial gain. I actually lose money representing the Premium Company because I travel and we spend all my own expenses traveling around the country, educating people. Costs a lot of money. I'm only the distributor. This is not my scientific breakthrough. I'm not the genius that discovered this science. I'm only the guy educating the physicians and the pharmacies to the mechanisms of action of why this works. And what it's doing, Darren, is it's literally mitigating the toxic overload that we all have. You have it, I have it, your family has it, your community has it. Everybody on planet Earth today has depleted levels of glutathione due to toxic overload. The air. Did you know when it rains aluminum on us? Did you know that?
Yeah.
Okay, so now it's raining aluminum on us. If I go make a cup of tea, here's my cup of tea. I'm going to have a sip of tea, right? This tea that I bought is made with water from the fountain. I doubt they filter this in the local bakery where I buy my tea, right? So now this fountain water is full of chemicals. I still drink it because I'm out. I grab a cup of tea because I'm always on the run. I do my exercise. So I do that, and I cheat a little bit by drinking a tea from an outside source. But I'll guarantee you that the water coming from the pipeline where we all live is treated and it's full of chemicals. My own tap water. At home, when I make my tea or anything that I cook, we don't use water from the fountain. We use filtered water. We only drink filtered water or sparkling water that comes from the earth, rich in minerals the way God and nature intended. So the point is, the air is polluted, the water is polluted, the food, forget about it. The food is all toxic. There's nothing because the soils are leaching toxins in the soils, the rain, the air, everything is so polluted that my own glutathione levels are now depleted in glutathione. And what that does, Darren, so you understand it and your audience understands it in layman's terms, it creates something very harmful inside our cells called oxidative stress. Once the oxidative stress forms inside the cell, it creates something called reactive oxygen species. What that is, Darren, reactive oxygen species is when your cells and my cells inside the cell are doing this. Okay, they're imbalanced. The reactive oxygen species, the electrons are imbalanced. Let me repeat that. It's the electrons in the cell that are not balanced. That's reactive oxygen species. When you take ProImmune or when you walk barefoot on the earth, you ground. You come, your electrons balance like this now. You come to homeostasis. Your cell is now performing optimally the way nature and God designed it to be, in homeostasis. Taking 2 scoops of this, 1 in the morning, 1 at night, this all-natural scientific breakthrough replenishes the glutathione levels directly inside the cell so that the human cell can now resynthesize its own glutathione to do what? To penetrate the cell membrane. No glutathione product can do that effectively. None. As Judy teaches, they only go into the bloodstream. Glutathione products that you buy anywhere do not penetrate the cell membrane. IV glutathiones they give in a hospital do not penetrate the cell membrane. They go into the bloodstream. They give the patient more energy for a day or so. Patient walks out, oh, I feel good. I got more energy. Oh, this is working. But that glutathione is doing nothing to penetrate the cell membrane, to take out the oxidative stress, to balance the electrons, to replenish the glutathione inside the cell, to take out the glyphosate, the heavy metals, and the microplastics. Now, when you replenish with this is not glutathione. This is the precursor. What Dr. Albert B. Crum, the scientist and medical doctor, discovered is how your own cell is making, I'll use the word synthesizing, its own glutathione. You're doing it right now as you speak to me. Every day you make your own glutathione, but we cannot make enough of it to take out the oxidative stress, to lower the inflammatory load, to reduce the glyphosate, the microplastics, or the heavy metals, or to balance the electrons. So this miracle powder, that's what all these doctors and pharmacies are calling it. It's a miracle powder because it's doing what nature and God intended the cell to do. It's replenishing your glutathione to optimal levels the only glutathione precursor in the world. And Dr. Judy Mikovits, her website is therealdrjudy.com. Your audience may want to look at her website, therealdrjudy.com, where she teaches this is a must-have. Every human being must have this product. She's not telling you that because she's making money selling a jar. I earn a few dollars. I'm the distributor, but like I said, I spend more than I do promoting than I do earning a couple dollars a jar. It's not about the money. It's about we're here educating because, Darren, we are in a critical environment. If we don't educate, if we don't speak truth, if we don't share God's message of all natural modalities, our children and grandchildren, and even us, as we grow older, are in peril because all these chronic illnesses are coming into us at epidemic levels, and it's all starts from the root cause. The root cause is depletion of glutathione caused by toxic overload that causes the oxidative stress inside the cell, that causes the inflammation throughout our bodies. And did you know that the root cause of every chronic illness is oxidative stress and inflammation in the body? Did you know that? Mm-hmm. Every chronic illness that you could mention, Alzheimer's, the root cause is inflammation in the cells of the brain. Inflammation, Parkinson's, Alzheimer's, traumatic brain injury after a football player or a soccer player gets a concussion. They have what's called a TBI, traumatic brain injury. This forms inflammation in the brain. Dr. Fogarty teaches athletes that if you get a concussion and you're on a football field, a soccer field, a hockey field, any sport, take 2 scoops of this immediately, and it stops the TBI from forming. Okay, because it reduces the oxidative stress so effectively before the traumatic brain injury even forms. This happens. Do you have any questions about this, by the way?
I love this product. I feel like it's like some of the benefits and who should be taking it. I think
that's the question, and that's why Dr. Judy says everyone. I'm going to tell you why. Let me repeat this. This little product was evaluated by Georgia State Virology Lab, and they told Dr. Fauci, by the way, Georgia State Virology Lab sent him an email. Tony, this is before vaccines. Tony, you need to know about ProImmune. Dr. Albert B. Crumb's discovery. This will stop COVID. Guess what? They didn't do anything about it. That's why Dr. Fogarty took the reins by the hand, went to the federal government and said, you gotta let me introduce this. This will stop COVID right here and now. This is before vaccines. This will stop COVID. So you taking your 2 scoops a day, you're taking an all-natural antiviral designed by God. That's what you're taking. So who should be taking it? Everyone, because Judy says everyone for a reason. What you don't know is we are all inundated with glyphosate. It's the glyphosate that's wreaking havoc on the immune system because all these, the salad we eat, the celery, the cucumbers, the greens that we eat, the fruits, the vegetables, and the wheat. Okay, wheat, the corn, the wheat. They're spraying glyphosate. They go there with masks. They're wearing masks on while they're spraying the fields, and we're eating this morning, noon, and night, destroying the immune system. This is where all these autoimmune diseases come from, Darren. So who should be taking ProImmune? Everyone. And what you don't know, because Judy didn't tell you this is also recommended by pediatricians. Why? It's the biggest antidepressant. It's an anti-anxiety. It supports post-traumatic stress disorder because PTSD also has its roots in inflammation in the cells of the brain. Why, Darren? Because when you have anxiety and stress and PTSD, it causes that oxidative stress. Mental stress causes oxidative stress the same way that eating toxic foods do. Think about it. These poor children today going to school. So we're coming out with a new product in the pipeline. It'll take a year to get out, but it's going to be called the Children's Health Bar. And it's going to have ProImmune, spirulina, colostrum, and a couple of other ingredients developed by the Culinary Institute of America. head chefs, and we're doing this for children, so the children have a tasty health bar. It's going to be the healthiest bar that any child could eat. Dr. Fogarty is the one that said add spirulina to it, because he knows spirulina, 1 gram of spirulina mixed with 1.5 gram of this, is the ultimate detox for children and antiviral. These kids won't get the viruses. They'll have more energy, more cognition. They will avoid the viruses, like I say, and many, many other features. Right now, children just take 1 scoop of this a day. They don't need to, because their immune systems are better than yours and mine. You know, we're older. I'm much older than you, but I'm still older than you. But our immune systems, even at your age, are being shot. So children 1 scoop, adults 2 scoops. But that's a very good question. Who should take it? Should be everyone. And to be honest with you, ProImmune is becoming the #1 health supplement everywhere it's sold. Every physician's office, every pharmacy, every health food store. People are raving about it because it's also an all-natural statin to modulate cholesterol. It's approved in 37 countries as an all-natural statin to bring your cholesterol levels back to optimal range, to modulate them. Not too much cholesterol, not too little, just what the cell needs for optimal cellular health. So what other questions do you think of?
Wow. Well, how do you take it?
Oh, that's very easy. Let me see. Let me see if this jar is open. No, but I'll just open another jar. It's a powder. That's a great question, actually. It's a powder, comes with a seal. So I'm going to take off the seal. And inside the jar comes with a baby scooper. So the scooper, you have to kind of scoop it out with a knife or a fork or a spoon. But I'll just take it with my fingers because I actually just washed my hands, so I'm kind of sterile. But I don't know if you could see it. It's a powder. Whoops. It's a little dropped out. It's a powder, and this is the scooper.
Yeah.
Okay, so watch this. So I'm going to take another scoop because I'm taking more than 2 a day now. So there's mine. Give it about 10 seconds to swish around on my tongue. By putting that powder directly on my tongue, every cell in my body, from the cells in my brain to the skin to the liver to the kidney to my organs to my eye, my hair, every cell in my body, the 300 trillion cells, are now instantaneously bioavailable, resynthesizing their own glutathione. Why? Because what Dr. Crumb did, he discovered the formula in a minute particle size in free form. It's a free form amino acid. What that means, Darren, is because it's free form, nothing has to be digested. The enzymes in the saliva just broke that down within seconds. Every cell in my body is now resynthesizing my own glutathione. And why is that important? I'm 69 years old, Darren. I'm on the verge of having, like cardiovascular blockages and things like that many men my age start to get. By increasing my dose, I'm also increasing the oxygen to the cells of my heart. So for my cardiovascular system, every scoop of ProImmune, I'm going to ramp mine up from 2 a day to like 4 or 5 a day now, because for every scoop of ProImmune, it's equivalent to 10 minutes in a hyperbaric oxygen therapy chamber. It's literally doing what HBOT does. HBOT, hyperbaric therapy, increases the oxygen inside the cells, the brain, the heart cells. Now, my heart cells are not getting enough oxygen at my age. Okay, I need to exercise more. I need to either do hyperbaric therapy or take more ProImmune to get more oxygen for my cardiovascular system. So I'm doing this, and I'm also adding on something that Dr. Judy recommends on her website, therealdrjudy.com. I think we posted it up before. She recommends a product called Cardio Miracle. Cardio Miracle is another great supplement for the heart. I'm going to take it because at my age, you're much younger. Maybe you don't have to worry yet about it. But in another 10 or 20 years, when you're my age, you're going to have to start bringing more oxygen into the cells. Oh, you have it. Okay. I just ordered 6 months worth.
Yeah. So I mix the ProImmune with it in my shake.
That's the best way.
Is there an advantage to just taking a scoop directly?
No,
Mix
no,
it. Okay.
no. The way you're doing it is the best way for the way you're doing it. I'm going to start doing it that way too, because I have the inside scientific information that Cardio Miracle and ProImmune is the ultimate antiviral, heart health, cellular health, anti-cancer, according to the leading molecular biologist in America, the woman that is so brilliant that she could educate any biologist or chemist in 15 minutes. Okay, so anyone who thinks she's a quack, no, she is not. RFK Jr. is not a quack. No, he is not. You're not a quack. I'm not a quack. We are people that understand the very complex, deep science and the principles of nature. So I'm taking the Cardio Miracle. I put a link on my website, thebestimmunesupport.com. Anybody that wants to find the Cardio Miracle, they could there's a link for Cardio Miracle. Click on that. Dr. Judy Mikovits's link is on my website, thebestimmunesupport.com. You can get to Dr. Judy on my website. I have loads of science, loads of information. I have radio shows. Dr. Fogarty told me, and many doctors have told me, that I'm doing more in America to make people healthy than any physician he knows or Bobby Kennedy, under Bobby Kennedy. Like Bobby Kennedy's doing the most. He says, Joe, you're probably doing the second most under Bobby Kennedy, because you're the guy going around the country introducing this scientific breakthrough to all the doctors, all the pharmacies, all the health food stores, and now ProImmune has become a #1 across the country everywhere it's sold, because I'm the guy who came out of retirement working 14 hours a day educating.
So Joseph, some of the side effects in a good way of this is increasing oxygen and removing inflammation in our body.
Correct. So the only known side effects ever in 20 years that this has been on the market. Now, remember, when it was on the market 20 years ago, it was only going to physicians that Dr. Crum went to medical school with in Harvard. It was Harvard-based physicians that knew of the product that were recommending it, but it wasn't a household name. But it's been on the market for 20 years. But in the last 3 years, I brought it ubiquitous. It's everywhere now. And the only maybe 3 complaints we've had out of 50,000 units sold is 2 or 3 people got a little diarrhea or a headache because it's part of the detox process. There's no harmful side effects. It cannot be, Darren, because actually what's in this jar is already in their body. They already have the same ingredients. They're just putting it back a little bit faster than they used to. So it's detoxing so much out that occasionally, very few people might have a little diarrhea or get a headache. And Dr. Fogarty says, if you get a headache, put the ProImmune in yogurt. Take it that way, because that will slow down the detox process and the absorption process to get it into you a little slower so you don't detox so quickly. But you can't have a side effect with it. It synergizes with every medication, every other supplement.
And Joseph,
it's all natural.
What I meant was side effects being like better sleep, more energy.
The benefits. You meant the benefits, not the side effects. Yes. Well, let me just finish with saying it's all natural to the body, and your body already has this in it. So that's why there's no side effects except an occasional diarrhea. And then you just slow it down. But the diarrhea goes away in a few days after you detox. Now, the benefits are overwhelming. I'm hearing from many people, including physicians, increased cognition, improved sleep, increases of energy. People who take this do not get a cold, a flu, a norovirus, an RSV, no viruses. And another benefit is normal range of cholesterol levels. Now, cholesterol, they say, is not a bad thing. High cholesterol is not a bad thing. They're discovering this. But we're not talking about high or low cholesterol. We're talking about if it was through the roof, your levels are through the roof, or you're pre-diabetic, or you have high A1C. What ProImmune does is it modulates it to optimal levels. And the reason it does this, Darren, is because we were talking earlier on the show. ProImmune is designed by nature and God. Dr. Judy is teaching the doctors that nature and God knows best. So that's why the ProImmune is modulating the cholesterol and the A1C and the triglycerides to optimal range. So the benefits are overwhelming improvements to health. What you don't know is I have doctors around the country, MDs. Dr. Judy's not an MD. We have medical doctors that are finding more results with ProImmune than they are with toxic pharmaceuticals. They're taking patients off pharmaceuticals and prescribing this because this is doing what the medications don't even do as effectively. Now, I'm not a doctor. I can't make that claim. FDA says you can't say this is going to treat, cure, or prevent anything. I don't make that claim. I'm not allowed to make that claim. This is what the doctors are saying all over the country, that this is treating the patients better than the pharmaceuticals because it's addressing the root cause. I want to share with you Dr. Edward Ted Fogarty, MD, who taught Dr. Judy. He treated Senator Kramer of a stroke about a month ago. Senator Kramer had a stroke. Wife called up Dr. Fogarty. Senator's having a stroke. He said, get him to Bismarck Pharmacy, Dakota Pharmacy in Bismarck. Not him. Run to Dakota Pharmacy in Bismarck, pick up a jar of ProImmune, give him a scoop every 3 hours. It helped his stroke from going into a full-blown disaster. And that's Senator Kramer. He's just one example. And Dr. Fogarty has done this for many people. I have other doctors who have treated stroke patients with this product right here. It's just like a traumatic brain injury. It reduces the inflammation in the cells of the brain because it activates the NRF2 gene. And the NRF2 gene is saying to the cells in the brain, right here, right now, we need more glutathione synthesis right here to stop this from escalating. I'm not a scientist, Darren, so I might not be explaining it as well as Dr. Judy.
You're doing great.
Thank you. But in layman's terms, I'm taught by all the doctors and the scientists. I'm educated by them without a science degree. So forgive me if I'm a little amateurish.
No, you're fantastic. And thank you so much for sharing this information. To get the product, we go to the bestimmunesupport.com. And you can get it. You can set it up, and that's what I do. Is I have a monthly subscription, so I get. I mean, basically,
you get a discount. Yeah, I have hundreds and hundreds of subscriptions, of course. I just want to share with you in closing that you don't know, veterans love this product. Post-traumatic stress disorder, TBI, depression, anxiety. I know we don't have much time, but I'll just share with you. I just gave a presentation to the Department of Defense. It's my second visit, my second invite back to the Department of Defense. And this time I sat with 8 scientists, and we're in very deep discussions with the powers that be to introduce this into the DOD or the Department of Defense or the HHS or the hospital systems with the powers that be, because this is the real deal. ProImmune is a scientific breakthrough that big pharma and the old regime doesn't want people to know about, but those days are waning. The people of truth are speaking out. The words are coming out now, Darren, that truth is coming out, that these pharmaceuticals are keeping us toxic, keeping us full of more heavy metals and more toxins. And God and nature has always been the answer. Before Big Pharma came along in 1929, God and nature was healing us forever. And we're trying to go back to God and nature, and ProImmune, Cardio Miracle, Spirulina. These are the modalities that work. Okay? Spirulina, Cardio Miracle, ProImmune, Masterpiece Zeolite by Hippocrates Wellness in Florida. They sell a great zeolite called Masterpiece. Hippocrates, you can call them up and say, do you have the Masterpiece? Ask for Caroline. These are the modalities that work. God bless you. Thank you for a beautiful show. If you ever like to do another one, I'm always available.
Thank you, Joseph, and God bless you, and I appreciate you being on the show.
An honor to be here, and how serendipitous to meet you at a conference aligned with God as well.
Absolutely. Amen. And thanks for watching, and thanks for getting on the ark. Come back. And
my pleasure. Amen.
Amen.